Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, these two stories I'm going to tell you today, they happened relatively in the same couple hours. They were in the exact same day, but they happened a couple hours between, my day. Made my day super interesting. So, the first one, this man, I call him the stalker because that's what he did to my coworker. So, this is probably about 2 years ago. UPS. It's probably my first like 7 months working there. I've dealt with weird shit throughout my time of working in customer service, but like these 2 days, or not these 2 days, these couple hours of this day were by far the weirdest that I had ever experienced in Missouri, for this reason. So it's about in the morning. It's a normal day. I'm opening because we open at like what 9, yeah. So we open. I got there 8. Had to open at 9. Had about an hour to open the store completely, and my coworker's running a little bit late, which is fine because she has an hour to get here. And so during that hour time span, I'm sitting there like I'm getting the computers booted up. I'm going to the front, unlocking doors, making sure signs are on, and she has a key to open the back door to, get in, shut it, and lock it so we can get everything started for the day. But instead of coming in all calm and surreal, like I had my music playing because I play music when I'm at work to kind of like focus on what I'm doing. And so she comes in and I pause my music. I don't know what I was listening to, honestly. But she comes in, she's panting, she's out of breath. And I was like, "What's wrong? Like, why are you panting, out of breath? Like, why?" And so she says, "There's a man outside who came up to my window and knocked on my car window." And at first I thought he needed something, so I rolled my window down, and she said he smiled a really big grin and asked her to dinner. Just the most random dude. Keep in mind, my friend is not my friend, my coworker. She was probably around 18, 17, 18. I think it was 18. She just had a birthday. So she was 18. And so I was like, "Oh, that's kind of it's weird." And so she was like all scared, so we had to talk. I'm like, "Hey, doors are locked. No one's getting in here. I haven't even locked the door yet as part of my opening procedure. So until we're open, you'll be fine. You'll be safe. If he comes in, I'll deal with it. Cause I mean, I'm a tired like 19-year-old. I don't have a lot of time to deal with stupid shit. So I was like, I'll deal with it. It'll be fine. If you need to, you can go in the back. I'll talk to him, whatever. But for right now, let's open the store. Let's get stuff done." And so we're going around opening the store, and it's probably around 8:55 to 9 o'clock. I'm getting the last computer set up, and then we have to go in the back and turn on the laminator. So I turn the laminator on. I'm back there cutting up excess boxes to put them in the trash. And she goes, "Zach." I go, "Yeah, what's up?" And I walk to the front, and she's just sitting there staring out like the. So for you to understand this, our layout of our store is we have a door to the right, like a front door to the right, and then on the left side of our store we have like more of like a we have a door, but it's a singular door. The front door on the right is a double door. We never open the other door on the double door. But this guy, he showed back up after like 3 hours, or not even 3 hours, after like 20 minutes of us setting up, and he's just sitting there knocking on the door, like in a rush, like not even slow and scary. He was just like sitting there pounding on the door, and so I'm like, "You gonna go to the back?" She goes, "No, I can stay here and deal with it." I'm like, "Okay." So I go over. I have my keys. I unlock the door, and I have my foot against like the bottom of the door, so the door's not gonna move. And there's also a printer to the left of me, so I like kind of move the printer over so it's gonna hold the door at a slight angle. And so I'm like, "Sir, is we close we open in 5 minutes, so we're not open yet. We will be in 5 minutes. Is there something I can get for you?" He goes, "Yeah, my friend's in there. I wanted to talk to her." I was like, "Oh, she's currently in the back. She is doing paperwork, just making up some dumb excuse." And I start to close the door. He like grabs the handle and starts to like pull on it. And I'm like, "Sir, we're closed. Like we're not open for another 5 minutes. Like I need to close this door and lock it to proceed with my opening, and then you may come in and do business with us." And so he backs off, and like I don't see him for like another 3 hours after that. So the store's open by that time. We're getting customers in, we're doing shipping, all that great stuff. I think I was doing a lamination for somebody. Yeah, we do a lot of huge printing projects in Missouri. So I was doing a printing project for this young lady, and my coworker's in the back. She's taking a break, and by this time, one of our other coworkers shows up because there's supposed to be three of us in there at a time, so someone could take a break. And so I'm sitting there working on this project. I don't even know how much it was supposed to be, but it was a long project. And that same guy, comes back in like 3 hours later, different outfit completely. He was wearing like torn jeans, a scraggly shirt. His hair was like super unkempt. He looked kind of like he took a ponytail of his hair. It was like all matted and stuff. So he comes back in. I don't notice him because I'm in the back. And my coworker goes, "Hi, sir. How can I help you?" And like they're doing this whole business transaction. He's shipping something, and he goes, "Is your coworker still here? The young female?" And I just go, like I just talked to this dude 3 hours ago, and he just sounds creepy. And so I come up there. I'm like, "Sir, she went home for the day. She wasn't feeling good." And he then proceeds to write his phone number down. And he's like, "Good, because if I see her tomorrow, something bad will happen." And I'm like, what do you mean something bad will happen? He's like, "It's not something for you to concern yourself with, kid." I was like, "I'm not a kid. I'm 19. I'm fine." So I was like, "Sir, um, I don't want to have to call the cops," because she already had called the cops earlier that day, and she was making a report because she was scared. And I was like, "I don't want to have to call the cops again for like stalker or anything like that." And so he leaves. I didn't see him for the rest of the day, but I guess my coworker, when I left at like what 6. Yeah, like no, it was 5. It was 5:30 probably. So I leave, and what I heard was that she called me after I got home and was like, "Can you come back to the store?" I was like, "Why? What? It's 5:30. What?" I was like, I'm off." She goes, "He's back." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I drove back, and this dude is sitting there in our parking lot with like a phone, and it's just recording her, and like she's going to her car, and like sitting in there, and she's like crying, and he's just sitting there recording her. And I walk up to him, I'm like, "Sir, like, do I need to call the cops?" Like, I had my phone out, ready to dial the number, and I guess she was in her car already calling them. But what I didn't realize is that this guy had been like doing this for like days on end, trying to get her to go to dinner with him, trying to send her text messages and all this stuff, which is super unprofessional. And so the cops did come. They took him away. They got him in a car, and I haven't seen him since. And neither has my friend. He hasn't tried to text or anything, but just the thought of this like 40-year-old man trying to stalk like an 18-year-old girl and get her to go to dinner with him, like God knows what he would have done. But I'm sort of glad I was there. Not sort of. I'm glad I was there to help her out, because if not, I have no idea what that guy would have done. But that's just how it is. But she's good now. She's I don't know where she is, but she's good now. She's living a happier life, which is a great thing. So thank you guys for watching this first part. There'll be a second part coming in about 5 minutes. All right. So story 2. This one starts off at around, I want to say like what 10 or 11 a.m. This is like a couple hours after I opened. Me and my coworker are just sitting there. Like, I'm on my phone at this point. Like, cause no one's coming in. I think this was a Saturday, honestly. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was a Saturday. So not a lot of people are coming in. So I'm on my phone, sitting there chilling, and like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to break. I'm gonna go to break. Go get some lunch. Go hit my vape outside real quickly. And so I go outside, I hit my vape, I clock out, and I go to get lunch. And I'm at lunch, and so nothing bad's happening so far at all. And so I'm at lunch, I'm getting a soda, getting like a sandwich or something, and I'm like, I can't wait for this day to be over. This has been a weird day already. Like, I want to go home and sleep. I think this was like a week before I graduated too. So I'm like just done with everything. So I get back, I'm sitting there getting my food, and I come back from my lunch break, and my coworker, the one that had the stalker, she goes off on her lunch break, but she doesn't leave because she doesn't want to leave. And so I'm sitting there, I'm sitting there at the register, just waiting on my phone. I have it like behind the register, just watching like Instagram or something. This guy comes in, and he's like, he goes, "I want to ship something." I was like, "Okay." It's kind of what we do here. So he sets this box on top of the scale, and I start looking at the scale. I'm like, oh, it's 10 pounds. It was like 5 pounds. Sorry, I'm mixing up details. So it was about 5, 6 pounds. And I was like, oh, okay. What is your shipping? He goes, oh, it's nothing important. Keep in mind, in the UPS world, you have to know what you're shipping in order to ship it. We have to be able to know what's in the box, know what shipping is going into this box, and like, so we can't ship something that's harmful. We can't ship like aerosols. We can't ship firearms. We can't ship animals. We can't ship animal bones or anything like that. Nothing that could be considered extreme. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, sir, I have to know what's in that box, or else I'm not gonna ship it. It's kind of like it's our guidelines. It says right there on the counter. It's like a poster that we have like tape around, and we've taped it to this desk so that people know exactly what we ship and we don't ship. I'm like, sir, you would just read those guidelines. I can't ship this without knowing what's in this box. And he goes, that's just ridiculous. I'm like, it's not though. Like, what? It's not though. It's not ridiculous at all. And so he's getting all upset and stuff like that. I'm like, sir, honestly, like, just tell me what it is so I can ship it. And he says, oh, it's a toy for my grandchild. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, do you mind if I open it? He was like, oh no, go ahead. And so this dude has like this, whatever he's shipping, like just covered in like plastic bags and bubble wrap, and like it had like a crap ton of cologne over it too. Like someone sprayed like the entire deodorant bottle over this product or whatever it was, because I didn't know. And I was like, dang, this kind of smells like this is heavy. I stood back, I was kind of coughing. I'm like, do you really have to put that much deodorant in there? He goes, yeah. He goes, I don't want her to know what it is. I go, okay. So I start going through like the list of things I have to go through, like typing up stuff on the computer. I was like, sir, address. He gave me his address. I was like, what's in the box? He goes, oh, it's a toy. I was like, what kind of toy? Plastic, glass, just so I know that when it goes on the truck, it doesn't explode on somebody and kill somebody. And so he was like, no, it's not glass. There's nothing in it. It's just like a plastic toy. I was like, okay, cool. And so I asked him for the address of his daughter. I guess he was separated. And so he told me the address of his daughter, his wife, and stuff like that. And so I'm sitting there, I'm typing this up, and my coworker, she comes out from her break. This literally took like 30 minutes because he was just having problems, and I'm not really sure why, because it's the simplest thing in the world to ship something. And so during this entire encounter, I'm sitting there talking to him, getting like all this stuff filled out. I'm like, sir, it'll be there on Friday, the whatever day. Let's just say the 15th, Friday the 15th. And so I was like, it'll be there at 8 a.m. He goes, no, can I have it there at night, like 10 p.m.? I'm like, no, because that's not when we ship things. I'm like, we can do it at 9 p.m., like right before we close. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, cool. And so I'm sitting there, like, my boss comes in like an hour after this, so I'm getting everything set up. And so I taped this box closed and everything, and I set it in the back because we have to put wrapping paper on it. He bought a new box, basically. Don't know why he did this. He bought a new box, and so I went in the back. I was getting this box set up. I was taping this new box up, and he leaves. I got his number and everything, because we have to contact him before it ships out. And so I got his phone number. It was like on this little receipt on the side that I had to put in the register, which I did. And so I took this box to the back. I'm like, dang, this is a really heavy present. Like, it doesn't feel like it's 6 pounds. I was like, whatever. It's probably nothing. So my coworker comes back. She goes, why does it smell like cologne in here? I was like, that dude that came in, it smelled like cologne. Like, he sprayed this box down with cologne. And so she goes, that's kind of weird. I'm like, there's a lot of high schoolers that do the same thing with their clothes in the gym room. It's whatever. And so I put this box on the back table. Our table is like, it's overlaid with carpet so we don't dig our knives into the wood of the table. And so I get my knife, I start cutting this box open, I set it to the side, I get this new box out, I flip it over, fold it, tape it, all that stuff. I put a protective layer of bubble wrap on the bottom, and then after that, I start to deconstruct this box this guy gave me. And at this point, it's been an hour because I had to help other people. And nothing else strange happened until my boss came in. So my boss comes in. He's like, "Hi Zach." I'm like, "How are you?" Let's call him Jay. How are you, Jay? And he's doing good. He's probably in his 70s. So He's like, I'm doing good. He goes, I had some dinner last night. We had a casual conversation. And then he sits at his computer like he always does, works on emails. And so I go back to the back, and he goes, "Why does it smell like cologne in here?" I was like, "I told the same thing to let's call her Jen." I was like, "I told the same thing to Jen. I don't know." This dude brought a package in here with it was a 6 pound box around, let's say, I don't know what the dimensions were, like let's say like 10 by 11. So he brought a 10 by 11 box in here, completely just doused it in deodorant. My boss was like, "That's kind of weird." I'm like, "It is what it is." So 20 minutes after I go back to the back to do this, um, that's when my other coworker started helping that stalker dude. I was in the back. My boss was there. I was like, "Hey, Jay, come here." And Jay comes back and I was like, our policy for shipping dead animals and stuff. He goes, "Well, yeah." I was like, "Well, this dude was acting very weird about it earlier. Like, he wasn't too okay with it." I was like, "It's just weird." He goes, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. Let's look in the box." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And so I cut the box open. We have this other box here, and the minute I pulled the bubble wrap off, the deodorant the deodorant or cologne, whatever it was, can't even hide or mask the smell anymore. So I took the thing off, and I just see a bag with like something black in it. I was like, "That's kind of weird," but it smells awful, like something's rotting. It smells like rotting skin almost. And so we're sitting there. I'm like, hold my nose. Like this was before COVID, so I didn't have to wear masks or anything. And so I put gloves on. And I was like sitting there. I like literally cut this package open, this like little plastic bag, and there's a small dog in there, a small dead dog, and it's definitely at the point of decomposition. And I'm sitting there just thinking, I'm like, damn, this dude just paid to have a ship a dead dog and lied to me about what was in it. And so it's in Missouri. I don't know if it's against the law to ship dead animals or something, but like we just can't do it. We don't have a license for it. So my manager instinctively closes the box. He takes it back up, all that stuff. Trying to get the smell to go away. And he's flabbergasted. At this point, he's on the phone with the dispatcher for the UPS hub, and I was like, "Hey, we have a situation here. I'm gonna have to call somebody for this dead dog and a cleanup crew because it was like all over the place at this point. Because the minute we opened the box, it just fell apart. So the whole time we're doing this, I'm sitting in the back, just like I'm just thinking. I'm like, really, like why today? Why on a Friday? And so at this point, my coworker has left. It's been a couple hours, and the people come. They clean up the dog and everything. They get it out of there, and this dude comes back and he goes, "Hey, did my toy ship?" And I was like, "Yeah, your toy definitely shipped to a trash can or anywhere else, because that's not where you ship dead dogs." And like my boss was sitting right behind me with his arms open, like not open, but like crossed. And he was like, "Sir, we told you that we can't ship dead animals or anything like that, and yet you lied to us and tell us it's a toy when it's obviously not." He was like, "Sir, it's not my dead dog." He goes, "It's my daughter's." And I was like, "I still can't ship it. I told you that." And so throughout this entire thing, he goes, "Did you like the smell?" He asked me if I like the smell of a dead dog. I was like, "No, that's disgusting." And so I'm sitting here fighting back and forth with this dude. And by the time we close, he's waiting out there like to talk to me. He's literally waiting in his car with his phone, talking to somebody. He leaves the store, goes to his car, and just sits in there. And by the time I leave for the day, I come out there and he opens his window and goes, "Come here, boy." I was like, "Okay." I was like, first I was like, "Nah, not gonna do that. I'm gonna go to my car and go home." And he tells me, "Come here." I was like, "Okay." I walk up to it and I go, "What do you want?" He goes, "I have my wife on the phone." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because it was her dead dog too." I was like, "Sir, no matter whose dog it is, dead or alive, we still can't ship it. There's certain guidelines that I have to follow in order to keep sanitary, factors in place and keep people safe from getting sick, a bunch of other things. And if it falls out of the back of the truck, someone else's car is going to get damaged from running over this dog or this dog's corpse." So we go back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, I just go, "You know what? I will talk to you some other time because I'm not having this conversation with you." And eventually, my boss brings the dog, or the dog comes back to the store because we have to do checkouts on it to make sure it's actually his dog. And this dude literally comes back in the store and starts tearing it apart. He waits the entire time, and I wasn't there at this point, so this is what I'm hearing from my boss. He comes back in there, opens the box, and starts like putting his hands inside this corpse of this dog. And at that point, like, no one knows what's going on anymore. We're all like sitting there, just why is this man doing this? So, the next morning I come in, and it turns out this dude got arrested from, trying to ship a dead dog and then tearing it apart in a store, and like, I think it was like indecent exposure or something, but it was nasty. We had to have our whole store cleaned out, like sanitized. It was awful. So, moral of these two stories is don't come into a UPS and be weird. But if you go to a UPS store, they're usually pretty chill people. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoy these stories. I enjoy making them and telling them to you because these are real stories that I have encountered firsthand. So if you enjoy them, smash that like button. If not, then I guess you'll see my gameplay at some point. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later. Peace out.